point. Oh, that is fun. I wouldn't even think about that, but yeah, like, ooh. Oh, point. Oh, that is fun. I wouldn't even think about that, but yeah, like, ooh.
They're going for every database and username, point of contact. I thought I looked every kit I could find. And as soon as I did that, so Michael graduated from the academy this past December at KCC. Michael has the plan for, if I remember this, wanting to make a decision. He wanted to be a police officer. He wanted to be a however, with his dad being chief at the time, that then suddenly chief got retired, and then after, so Michael wanted to make a decision now. We are very, very happy, very, very thankful. Not only is he Scott's son, but again, hired somebody who's also from Elgin, who's from Elgin. More thankful for Michael. But, so he's starting his FTO process with Officer Acting Sergeant Banky right now. So, and then in the fall, hopefully in October, we'll have a fire day with class who we introduced in January. So both of them will be going in October, and so they'll be process through the summer. But big shoes to fill.
So Len and I remember back in 2010 when you were working for your dad. So I'm really glad this is so close.
I'm happy to be here. I love the city. I don't. So I'm happy to be here. You're happy to have me. Thank you.
Okay, we are happy that you want to work with our department. You'll be a great asset to our community.
Absolutely. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
We have a public hearing for the application for hearing. It is 7:07 p.m. The gallery, stand, member council, to approve, let's go to April 508.
Yes.
Madam Mayor, members of council, and members of the public. Tonight, we just held a public hearing on the application of the Community Development Block Grant. The city of Albion is prepared with the help of Whiteman Associates. I used to say Reitman, but it's Whiteman. I've been corrected. Anyway, we're applying for a $2.5 million grant with match of about $309,000. The purpose of this grant is to pave Beamer, one block of Dean and Magnolia, which is, okay, I stand corrected, on this right here. It entails infrastructure improvements, one block of sanitary sewer, and the rest water main in this area. Based on our phaser ratings, we feel that this street is, or this area is very much, I was over there the other day, and the street is in really bad shape. This ties in nice because we also have a project coming up next year of doing Hoagland and the rest of Dean Street. So we think that addressing this quadrant of the city is a very good thing for our residents in this area. And so we're very excited about this. Of course, grants are based on a point system, and with the $309,000, which represents about between 11 and 12%, it puts us very competitive with other communities. So again, with the infrastructure improvements, that increased our portion of our match, and so we're very excited. At this time, I welcome any questions or comments you might have in this regard.
Any questions?
Comment. I definitely thank and appreciate city staff for making this a priority. I know the last few years we've worked to try to address the thing that Hoagland streets and the project that had taken place at McIntosh Park with the splash pad. That was assembled before I got here, and thanks to the council that preceded me. But definitely those streets, Beamer, McNaughton, and Dean, all need attention as well as we know other streets in the city does as well. But those streets have been long neglected. So I definitely appreciate you.
We do have a high density population in that area, with us already having grant approval for the other streets in that location. I think this is just a good complement to be able to finish off the other roads that are adjacent to what's already planned.
Very much.
Yeah, there's been a lot of people I've gotten called about when, I guess because people are kind of worried that they're gonna be opening up the rest yet. And they were wondering, when were they gonna fix those streets? So they're gonna make people do it.
And the timeline would be, we get the grant next year and then start in 26 or
27.
26. Excellent. Thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions or comments? Councilwoman?
Just a comment. I went down because I ride that area, just to see the activity and things like that. Splash pad has an opening, but there was a large puddle on Beamer. I turned around because I didn't know how deep it was, but have they discovered problems there that you didn't foresee, or if maybe that's just a sinkhole or something like that? But it was filled with water and you could see how deep the hole was, so I turned my car around.
We've had a lot of rain last weekend. It could be just a road deterioration where the road has deteriorated even more. There's a
Yeah,
swale.
Pretty deep, yes. It's on Beamer.
But when,
I'm sorry.
When was this?
Saturday.
Went down to East River on Saturday, so
You saw
I
that.
didn't have to go all the way there.
Right, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I thought maybe a pipe or something had burst or something like that, in addition to the deterioration of the road, but maybe not.
So at this point, the administration is requesting council favorable review and approval of the grant application.
Yeah, I think this is a great way to be able to help, like I said, complement the rest of the projects that are gonna be done in the coming years.
I will make one note, as you know, the volatility at the national level with budgets, is still unknown. Hopefully, this project will be showcased and scheduled and reserved for us to do this. Right now, there's a lot of uncertainty in our world with, budgets and funding. So I just want to point that out to you as well. Thank you, Mayor.
City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Williams, Reed, Stewart,
Yeah.
Davis,
Yes.
French,
Yeah.
and Mayor Snyder.
Public comment. If there's anybody in the gallery that wants to- Seeing no movement. Do I have a motion to approve of the consent calendar items? Consent calendar items is showing that there the application for the Board of Life Ministries to select the Cash Park on June 29th. Application from the Arts Commission to use Pearl Park on June 27th and 28th for art with the power. Application for Jack Sandusky, utilize Pixie Park. on August 3rd.
August 3rd, yep.
Yep. The application for Springport School to Victor Park on May 27th. Questions or comments on this application? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Catering pub licensing request.
So move. Support.
Madam Mayor and members of council, in your agenda packet tonight is a application form presented or prepared by the application is through the Michigan Liquor Control Commission. What this application is a new development license that Transide Brewery has applied for. We have worked with the owner, and at our last PDA meeting held last Wednesday, it was decided that the PDA would unanimously support the application presented to the council, along with the recommendation and endorsement to approve this development license. Obviously, we still have to go through all the requirements required by the Liquor Control Commission, but it is part of our downtown development and our initiatives. The DDA feels that it is very important that they be approved by this honorable body for this application. Welcome any questions or comments that you might have.
Mayor Pro Tem French?
As a regular visitor to that establishment, I think that allowing them alcohol will just grow their business in real ways. It is often a requirement of a eatery nowadays that deals with wine. So I would fully endorse this.
So as well as full disclosure, Councilman Stewart and myself said on the DDA, this has been a topic of conversation for several months. How the city can support Trackside in regards to obtaining a liquor license. As we all know, the liquor licensing is not at the local government level. It is a state decision. So there is a very lengthy process that they have to go through before they can even obtain approval for the license. So there's been a lot of conversation about this, a lot of investigation about this. And this is what we feel from the EDA, the best path forward for them, giving council support for them to move forward with their application for getting one of these licenses. So like I said, it's been a long time conversation, but I think this is kind of the big starting point for them to be able then to take the next step with the state of Michigan to obtaining the license. Attorney Harris.
So, I do share the sentiments of the mayor and that and Councilman French, that I'm all about supporting local business and helping them grow, especially in the city of Albion. The one thing I will just say is I'm in my review of the requirements for a DDA liquor license and my conversations with the city manager. I'm not convinced that this is the particular license that they will meet the criteria for. I'm not saying you shouldn't support it. I'm just saying I would not be surprised if we're back here in a couple months with them asking for a different kind of license, because I don't know that they're going to meet the criteria for this one. So I just want council to be aware of that, not to be surprised when we're back being asked to approve a standard liquor license. So just FYI. But I don't see any reason why you can't vote on this resolution.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Is this not the standard license that they're?
No, so a standard license is just this particular license is specific to being within a DDA district.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So there's additional criteria that have to be met in order to qualify for it.
I understand. It's similar to the Malibu.
Yeah.
A couple months ago.
Right. And so my understanding is there may be some licenses that are available for transfer, but that's not for us to decide, but they'll have to sort that out with MLCC. I just want council to be aware that this could come back in a different form.
I mean, as long as we're committed to supporting small businesses here in town, I think we should.
Exactly.
And they have to follow through.
I think this is unprecedented because I don't remember seeing anything like in my 5 years, anything like this, other than an Alamo, liquor license, anything like this coming before council for approval. I asked the previous mayor, Mr. Atchison, if he saw this in his time here, and he had not. So I think this is kind of like unprecedented waters for us to kind of pursue the EDA. As Attorney Hartman said, if it needs to come back to us, that this is not the right venue for them to seek the liquor license, then I understand that. This is like above what we're accustomed to. But like Mayor Pro Tem French said, we just want to make sure that we are showing support for like a local business. And if that's what they feel that can grow their business, I want to be able to show support for that as well.
It's even worth it. This is not the license that we're talking about.
So, I know the city manager's had some conversations with them. There's some disagreement. I think the consensus was that certainly the council and the administration doesn't want to stop or impede the business from seeking a license. So we agreed to put this on for approval for tonight. I just wanted council to be aware this could come back in a different form. Because there may be other licenses that they may have to pursue before they can pursue a DDA license.
Any other questions, comments?
Just thanks for the support. It's really important to me that we support small business trying to move forward. And I will say that I personally, and I'm sure others, learned a lot going through this. Plus, we appreciate city managers' conversation and wisdom and talking through things. And I appreciate the council's attitude towards pushing things forward and really not being a roadblock. So I am confident that they will work themselves out. Whatever. We don't need to be a stumbling block or a stopping point.
Any other questions for City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Reed, Stewart,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
Williams, and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Do I have a motion to approve the city park?
Yes, Mayor, members of council, in your agenda package tonight are the most recent review of rules by our recreation board. I do want to let you know that our recreation board works very hard, has a good pulse on our park system, and has come up with these rules as presented in your agenda package. At our last couple of meetings, they have reviewed these, and with their endorsement, the administration is requesting council approval as presented.
Questions or comments?
Councilmember Stewart,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
Williams, Reed, and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Future agenda.
I'll have a closed session to update the city on city issues.
Any other items? Gallery, I'd like to stand in the council. You may be present. Come forward. Give us your name, address, and 3 minutes is yours.
And there, there's many things, just to report on. One is, our construction projects are moving ahead. As with any project, we have some differences with our contractor. We are working with our engineer and staff to rectify some of those things. Some of them are concerning to me, but, we will work out those two things. We're on time, we're on schedule, except for the water tower. We just were able last week, received notice that the property did close, that, title is being prepared. That,
I haven't received a recorded deed back, but it was sent to register deeds and the property is close to it, is our property.
so the contractor has been notified. What would you say, Colin, we're 3 months behind
Roughly.
on that project. Down the road, that might create request by the contractor to extend their contract because there is welding involved. And a certain ambient temperature needs to be observed with that, along with painting. So we're, I don't want to say concerned, have a good contractor, and we will work with them. That is on the public works side of things. Of course, unfortunately, Mr. Curran couldn't join us tonight. He is at a seminar, at a public works seminar, along with some of the staff. But I do want to report that the parks, I think, are beautiful. I think the cemetery is beautiful. Of course, in observance of Memorial Day weekend, I'll always have Memorial Day. Our president showed us good change at Armed Forces Day. We do respect that. But me, I'm old fashioned, it'll be Memorial Day. And I think the cemetery is just beautiful. Again, at some point, as CJ has pointed out, we're going to have to address some of the mausoleums and some of the masonry repairs that need to be done. With that being said, I believe all of our departments are functioning very well. I can't again, to extend my thanks to all the employees and of course the department heads for staying on top of everything. Financially, I think we're doing very well. We are very careful in our spending. Critical in this day and age. So that's about all I have. I welcome any questions or comments you might have for.
So we have this brand new fancy patching machine.
Yes.
With all kinds of new patching material as he started. Erie Street really is. Machines, demonstration section, but further east. So,
Yeah, he plans on starting at any
okay,
time.
okay.
Oh, yeah, no, we will make use of that equipment. One thing we have to be selective with, the patching is going to be temporary, because if we're going over it, it's important to not invest in a whole lot of money, knowing that we're gonna be digging those streets up. So we have to be selective about when we'll be able to get to those streets permanently.
Erie Street was last in 2000.
Staffing levels we're doing very well on. Fortunately, and of course with Aaron hiring Mr. Kip, that is going to help a lot. I believe all of our departments are fully staffed at this time, which is very helpful. The other thing is that coming up will be a challenge next week, will be some of our code enforcement. And of course, that's never a popular undertaking, but it's something that needs to be done. And yelled at many times before, so.
Yeah, well, I do have a question. How did we fare this last,
Yeah, yeah, we did have some limbs down. If you look at the outage map on consumer, it took a west by northwest track, starting in Kalamazoo and moving up to Lansing area. So if you follow that, the outages, you can see where the tornado did most of its damage. We fared out pretty well compared to other communities just north of us. Charlotte got hit hard, Kalamazoo, Battle Creek. So we were very fortunate not to have the outages.
Coldwater hasn't had internet since Friday. Work today was really fun because I get there from Battle Creek. And there's still tons of electric lines in town.
So on the code enforcement, I'm a big fan of code enforcement, and I think that town, it's important to the growth economically, and environmentally, that we do enforce the code. So I'm supportive of it, and I will also say there's things I can do to help bridge with neighbors or whatever to help them understand the importance of that, or public service campaigns or something. I'm happy to help. I think this is long overdue. I'm not pointing fingers. I just mean we have to start. and this is a big deal to me, and I think it'll make a big difference to investment and people in their homes and everything else. I think it's a big deal. So thank you.
The one thing I would just like to remind everybody that on June 21st, we will be having our annual spring cleanup. And we always want to remind our residents to please take advantage of that. You know, it doesn't take long to accumulate things that probably don't have any useful life anymore. And we would ask that they dispose of them. We did that, our new house in Norfolk Homes today, on Sixth Street. So that's a great undertaking.
Now, is it complete?
Well,
It's set.
it's set, it's put on the foundation.
Oh, okay. The
That's not-
second house, not the first.
The second house,
The second house.
right next.
Right. Oh,
I saw it arriving in the mail. Coming north
I
on
saw-
Superior.
I was gonna say, I drove past it on the way on 99, getting way out of the way.
We will have a ribbon cutting on June 7th. So we'll send out. If I just got locked in. Any other questions for our city manager? Council member comments?
Thank you. I just have one comment, and that is that daily now I am walking a loop from my house around parks and through Victory Park, and I'm discovering a ton of litter. Every day, there's new litter on the ground, and sometimes it's McDonald's wrappers and uneaten hamburgers, and sometimes it's soda lids and straws. And my wife and I pick it up and put it in the waste bin. But I would encourage our community to use the parks to put the garbage in a covered container. There are some open barrels. My concern is we saw some squirrel-eaten French fry boxes. I'm sure they were put in the wastebasket and the squirrels climbed in and got them. But we do have covered barrels. And so if you're putting in food waste, I would recommend that you use the covered one. There's one by the fountain or the spring. And that's what we're using. So I would just encourage people that when you're in the parks, clean up after yourselves. As they say, leave only footprints and take only pictures. So we appreciate it. The parks do look great, mowed and mulched and edged. It looks fantastic. And then the second thing, we have a parade on Monday, correct? We're gathering at 9. Okay.
Yeah, so we need to figure out the interest for being in the parade. If we want people mover, if we want to walk, but we want to.
What's the weather? If it's raining, people move. If it's not raining.
We've always walked, at least in 5 years.
Yeah, we've always walked.
That I've been there, we've walked, so just wanted to see if everybody available for the parade on
I
Monday.
will be out of state. Friend getting married, so
I will be there.
Anything we can plan to be there? So we can walk, if that's.
Yeah, that's great.
Then we'll let them know that
Yeah.
we'll be there. I'll touch base with CJ to see where he is.
I think they'll be before we meet behind it.
Behind, on Erie Street behind Sanders Furniture.
But I will send out an email.
And one of,
No, I was gonna compliment the folks who are handling the redevelopment and renovation of the old Sanders Mattress Firm factory or store. Their uncovering of historic columns, if you haven't been by. This is a building that was built in the late 1800s, and you've got these original cast iron columns that were preserved and encased in wood, and they're gonna preserve those. I think it just adds character to our downtown. I'm just so excited that they discovered that. Yeah, just so cool. So thank you, Bill and team over at the folks doing that.
yes, my tidbit of information, as seen in the Albion in the recorder last week, we are on schedule to start a public transportation in Albion on June 2nd. There, hopefully, we can have another briefing session like we did similar when I had my my city council, not city council, but my precinct meeting, not city council, the precinct meeting here, when Mallory Avis came over and talked. There are a lot of nuances to public transportation, and I'm reminded that it is not a taxi service, but it is on demand, which means you have to call and make reservations to get it. But I would like for them to come, maybe to meet at Senior Citizen Center or another housing complex, and you know, so people who actually are going to use it have a clear understanding of what they need to do in order to get a ride from near across town or from Marshall or to Jackson. I mean, not Jackson, but to Rattle Creek or wherever. But it is on schedule. We are using DC Gold vans, so it won't say Albion or it won't say Transportation Authority, but it will provide the transportation. And the average charge, I'm told, is $3. So, especially in the community, out of town is negotiable. I understand this. But it's going to happen.
Get closer and closer.
Yes.
I know we will probably have another meeting before we get to fifth grade graduation, but do you want to say where fifth grade graduation?
This time, I'm not involved, I'm not in charge. They are doing their own thing this time.
Okay.
So I think it's going to be, in the auditorium.
I think it's the first Friday in June.
I have the 30th.
Oh, 30. Okay.
That is the Friday.
It's Friday, but it's not the first of June.
Right.
So,
So if I will contact the authorities. They'll
you
be-
usually are so much.
I know, and they said that was, I know. They said that was too much. They didn't want to do all of the hoopla and things like that for fifth graders, so we were going to have it much less.
So my next graduate is probably here at.
Yes, yes, and there won't be a speaker from Washington DC or New York. They said, you know, calm down, they don't want all of that.
But still, it's a great time to celebrate our little kids.
Yeah, and there is also a kindergarten graduation, for going into first grade, so. But they're doing it a little bit differently, so I stepped back. I still have the bins of graduation gowns and all of the hoopla, but I stepped back.
So probably, I think it's
May 3rd, yes, what I'm told.
Councilwoman.
Just announcing Juneteenth is coming up, June 20th and June 21st. On the 20th, Mr. Barnes is going to, and Playwright are going to play two teams from Battle Creek, Battle Creek Tigers and Battle Creek Black Sox. At Harris Field at 6 o'clock. Mr. Reed is going to be there with his, Dennis Reed is going to be there with his concession stand for hot dogs and it's going to be a lot of fun. And Milt has really been working on this, so we do appreciate that we're doing that.
So,
And then
I'm
on
sorry, is
Saturday,
this for basketball or baseball?
baseball. Did I say basketball?
No.
You didn't say.
Oh, this is for baseball.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's going to be in Harris Field.
Yeah, that's right. I was wondering, because I think of Milton basketball.
Yeah.
But then you said
It's
field.
going to be baseball.
Okay.
Okay, and then on the 21st, we'll be meeting at Collin Park at 11 o'clock. And there's a ad in the news, there's a thing in the newspaper that'll be coming out that's telling about all the stuff that'll be going on this year for Juneteenth. Okay. Oh, and another thing I wanted to thank the city manager and Jason's not here, and the whole city workers, they have done such a fantastic job at Holland Park, and the mayor, and they were down with me, what day was that?
Last week.
Thursday. And I have a bench there that has my name.
More than one bench. But we're gonna have a grand unveiling at Juneteenth.
Oh, yeah, yeah, and it's gonna be very, very nice. That's why we're leaving a little time in between the time it starts and the time that the music people start, so that people can walk and take a look and see all that's being done. They have done a fantastic job. It is that.
For our Juneteenth celebration, we will have full information about all the great improvements at the park and the riverbank, and and trails, and things to come. So,
Yes, a couple of things. First of all, soccer's season is over. It was a big success, and I'd like to thank publicly the Marshall Public Schools who have continued to support us since probably 2015 with this, and with the 18 fields and 200 kids we had out for spring. So thank you, Marshall Public Schools. From the DDA, two things. July 3rd, Thursday, will be the red, white, and blue cruise in. And that's from 4 to 8. Close some loops on that.
Already got it filled.
And that's from 4 to 8. Registration will be online. With good weather, we can expect over 100 vehicles. We are recruiting for people to help. I'm excited to see how the new limited access to Superior Street is going to work for that day. I think it might be the trial run for that. And so I'm excited about that.
the barriers.
Oh, right.
They use them as special brewery.
So the downtown will be inaccessible except for through Cass Street from the east, excuse me. So that should improve our safety immensely and also help with vehicles coming in for the show. About that. So if you would like to volunteer, please reach out to me. I'd be happy to help you find a spot. Second thing I want to talk about from the DDA, just a quick update, and I'm not the expert on this, but I wanted to let you know we're working on a Robert Holt Memorial in the park next to the Collaboration Corner, and one of our members, Betty Kleestek, is taking a little bit of a lead on that. She's working closely with Jen Wade and others. We really think this is going to be a very nice memorial. So more to come on that, but good things are happening. That's it for me.
So I did bring up McIntosh Park. We will open the splash pad next Monday, Memorial Day. So the water will be turned on, bathrooms will be open, fully operational. There's been a lot of great improvements that have been going on at the park over the past year or so. I just wanted to make mention that we did do an unveiling of the plaque to honor both the Nicola and Sauer families. Both Christy and Tony Nicola, mourners here, and who have graciously donated the money to get that whole project kickstarted. So the plaques out there. I know that the Albertine Foundation has some media press releases on that, but I just wanted to take a moment to thank the Nicola Foundation for another great year that our kids are going to be able to have, because there's a lot of communities that wish to have a splash pad. We wish to have one that's free of cost, because we have one. Okay.
Yes, he emailed.
Okay.
He was stuck at a job site
Oh,
and wasn't going to be able to make it.
do we have a motion to approve Councilor Fox?
So moved.
Support. Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned, 7:46.